There is a version of you that texts someone back too fast, that checks if they have watched your story, that feels a little hollow when Friday night comes and there is no notification to fill the silence. And there is another version of you, one that doesn't need any of that. The shift no one talks about. I want to talk about the exact moment that second version becomes real. Because it is not what you think. And by the end of this, you will have one thing to do tonight that starts making this shift feels less like a theory and more like your actual life. Here is what I keep seeing: brilliant, self aware women who intellectually know they don't need anyone. But emotionally, there is still this pull, this low grade anxiety when they are alone too long. This habit of outsourcing their sense of okayness to other people. And the advice they get: just love yourself, be your own best friend, which sounds nice, but nobody tells you how or why it's so hard when you already know you are smart and capable. So, let me break down what is actually happening psychologically and more importantly, what changes it. Point number one: you were trained to need. First thing to understand, the feeling that you need someone, it's not weakness, it is programming. From the time you were very young, your nervous system learned that safety equals connection. When you cried, someone came. When you were scared, someone soothed you. Your brain literally wired itself to associate other people with regulation. Co-regulation, wired dependency. And that was appropriate. You were a child. But here is a problem. Most of us were never taught the next step. We were taught to need others, but not how to graduate into being our own source of steadiness. So we end up as adults who function perfectly well in most areas, but still feel slightly destabilized without external validation. That is not a character flaw, that is incomplete development. And it can be completed at any age. Point number two: the difference between lonely and alone. Check: lonely and alone. The distinction changed everything for a client I worked with. Let me share it with you. Loneliness is the feeling that something is missing. It's an ache, a reaching outward in your heart. Being alone is a state. It's neutral. It's just the absence of other people. But lonely, you remember, lonely equals ache, alone equals state. Here is what is counterintuitive. You can be surrounded by people and feel desperately lonely, and you can be completely by yourself and feel full, content, even peaceful. The moment you stop conflating those two things, the moment you realize loneliness isn't solved by adding people, everything shifts. Because now you are asking the right question. Not who can I find, but what is missing inside that I have been asking someone else to fill. If you felt that land somewhere in your chest just now, stay with me. Now, point number three: the enoughness test. Here is a question I want you to actually answer, not theoretically, honestly. If you truly knew, that no romantic relationship was coming for the next 5 years, would you be okay? Not would you survive? Would you be genuinely okay? Would you still invest in your life? Would you still feel like your days mattered? The 5 year question. Most people, if they are honest, feel a flicker of panic at that question. And that panic is information. It tells you how much of your sense of meaning is outsourced to a future relationship that doesn't exist yet. The moment I realized I didn't need anyone wasn't dramatic. It was quiet. It was realizing I could answer that question with genuine peace, not resignation, not I guess I will be fine. Actual peace. That's what we are building forward. Now, point number four: one practice that begins the shift. Okay, here is your concrete action. Tonight, I want you to do something you would normally want a company for alone. Alone, on purpose. Dinner at a restaurant, a movie, a walk somewhere beautiful. Even grocery shopping with intention. Solo mission tonight. But here is the key. At some point during that experience, I want you to pause. Put your hand on your chest and ask yourself out loud or silently, am I okay right now? In this moment, just me. And then actually listen for the answer. What you will find, if you are honest, is that the answer is usually yes. The anxiety is about imagined judgment, about what you think being alone means. But the actual experience is usually fine, often better than fine. The gap between what you fear and what's real, that's where freedom lives. Drop a comment and tell me where you are taking yourself tonight. I want to hear it. Here is what I want to leave with you with. I don't need anyone isn't cold. It is not isolation. It is not shutting people out. It is the most generous place you can relate from. Because when you genuinely don't need people to complete you, you can finally love them without clutching. You can show up for connection without desperation underneath it. That's the version of you that is already in there. She is not someone you become. She is someone you stop abandoning. If this shifted something for you, you will probably get a load from this video right here, where I go deeper into why we outsource our emotions and how to take that power back. I will see you there. Thank you.